Now in this lesson, we're going to be revisiting text fields, but with our new knowledge of objects, properties, and methods, we should be able to do a lot more than we were working with before. And we should know how to write all of our paths correctly to access the right elements in the program. Now I've got a file up here that we can work with called Garden Resource, and you should find this in the Lesson 3 folder of Part 1. We can see that this is a little introductory content for a gardening resource page, kind of introducing the group and talking about some featured plants. And as you can see, we've got a lot of text information that's being presented, so this is a perfect place to try out some of our text field properties and methods. Now to get started, let's just take a look at the structure of the file as it is. Looks like we've got some background elements and some titles, and the majority of the content looks like it's located in a movie clip called Home Content. Let's just double click in here and take a look at the text fields that we've got. Now we're editing the Home Content movie clip, and I can see quite a few different text fields in here that we can work with. I'll just click away from everything, and we can see that the majority of these fields, in fact, I think all of these fields, are set up as static text. Now that's fine if you know that the content's never going to be changing. But if we want to update the content easily, or have ActionScript control to it, we're going to need to convert these from static text fields that have no instance name to text field objects, and that would be our dynamic text field. Now for starters, I'll go ahead and set that paragraph of content to a dynamic text field and the title right up here at the top where we say the helping hand for you and your garden. We'll set those both to dynamic text fields. Of course, if we want to access these with ActionScript, we're going to need to give them both instance names. Now my typical instance names, you might notice, have a little convention to them. I'd like to take this moment to explain that. A lot of my names start off with a few characters to describe what type of field it is. For text fields, I usually use txt. Then I follow it with some descriptive name that describes a little bit more of what the text field's going to do for me within the context of the movie. This one's going to be the title for the home page. So I'm going to call it Text Home Title. Now I'll also point out that I specifically used a lowercase letter to start off my name. That's a standard convention that's used by a lot of ActionScript programmers. A lowercase letter indicates that you're using an instance of an object, whereas if you use an uppercase letter, you're referencing the object class itself. That's a helpful convention to adopt, and it'll make sure that other people using ActionScript will be able to easily interpret your text. Another typical convention is when you string words together like I've done to create this name, you'll use uppercase characters for each of the additional words. Now that's simply just to make your name easier to read. Instead of being just a jumble of characters, it actually reads as Text Home Title. You can change these conventions however you like, but these are the ones that I'm going to be using throughout the rest of this series. Now let's add a title for our second dynamic field. This is going to contain our home text, so I'm going to call it appropriately txt, since it's a text field. I'll call it home text.